Well, I guess. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm ready to extend my wishes to Tupac Shakur, and trusting as always that this is on, because I hadn't been on Facebook Live in like forever. So let me put this phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay. Well, today is the 16th of June, the month named after me, and it's Wednesday, and today is the 50th birth date of Tupac Shakur, and I am moved to contribute my experience with this young brother, and it's still a bit trying for me because 2 months to the date, what was that date? To the date, the 13th, no, he died on the 13th. He was assassinated on the 7th of September, 1996. And 2 months to the date of my warning, nationwide warning, via Bob Law's Night Talk out of New York. I was his guest, and that time was most imperative, July 7th, 1996, and I placed a nationwide alert for anybody who knew him, who could contact him, anyone who had any other humans who had a way to find him, to tell him of my warning that his life was in danger, and someone's was going to try to kill him. And it was heavy on my heart, heavy on my soul, and this young brother was in his place at that time to bring about really majestic changes in this industry, the music industry, the film industry, the rap hip-hop industry, and to be a remarkable leader, which he already was, really. And so I put out this nationwide alert, and people were calling in, of course, that very evening, and wondering what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about there's somebody out here who is going to try to kill him. Now, try is an operative word, because I was definitely determined not to, in that way I wasn't obedient really, but I didn't want to establish a specific fact that someone would kill him, assassinate him. So I put it out, and from that date, it was almost a daily journey of reaching out and contacting, calling people, doing everything I could to get to this young brother, to warn him that they're gonna kill you. They're going to kill you. And I had opportunities really to get a message to his driver, who saw him all the time. Another person who was one person removed from knowing him. And the last person who had day-to-day working with him was an actor by the name of Vondi Curtis Hall. I happened to see him in church, the Agape International Spiritual Center. He went there, I went there. And that Sunday, we were in the hall, and I was like, oh my God, here you are. You're working with him and Tim Roth every day. I have to tell you, please warn Tupac. I said, because they're going to try to kill him. They're going to try to assassinate him. They're going to take his life. And he looked at me with a horrible sneer and eyes. I can't even I can't even make my eyes the way he made his. It was like he was totally disgusted that I had disturbed his morning, and I was emphatic because here was all these days, almost 60 days, that I had been calling and reaching out to people to get to Tupac, to save his life. And here was Vondi Curtis Hall directing the movie that Tupac and Tim Roth were in. So it was like, oh my God, this is perfect, because he's with him every day. He can, and I wanted to give him my number and everything, because I loved that young brother. And he looked at me as if he could have smashed me, as I said, and tell people like I was an intrusive gnat, you know. And he looked at me and with a very horrible, snarling way, and stalked off. And I was just standing there like, oh my God. So 2 months to the date, September the 7th, 1996. Actually, it comes out to be 2012. I'll tell about those numbers, and his birth date, his destiny number, and his death date, and that number. The Spirit was on me that day, and I had to get out. It was like, I gotta get away. I gotta, whatever I can do to get it off me. Death was on me. You know, it's a thing that I experienced when that happened, and I can't run out of my skin, but it was moving. It was moving. It was moving, and I got a call, and the host of Night Talk is Bob Law in New York, but it goes nationwide. And he said, everybody's calling. This is what June Gatlin. This is where Reverend June Gatlin prophesied. Tupac has been shot. And the only thing that I didn't do was faint. And I really couldn't talk. And people wanted to hear what I had to say and all that. And I was crying and everything. And along with the world, as I'm certain was with Honorable Michael Jackson. And then Sherry Culpepper, who's Bob's producer, she's on Instagram and Twitter. I guess she may be on Facebook. So she called and to tell me Tupac's videographer would be coming to get me, to take me to Las Vegas, to take me to the hospital. Tracy Robinson. And then Bob and them called again because their phones were blowing up at the station, at the show. And I told him, I said, I'm getting ready to go to Las Vegas, going to the hospital, and I told him that I would call when I got there. And so he wanted to interview me from the hospital lobby. Tracy arrived and we moved on and arrived in Las Vegas, and everything was just like in perfect order. When we got there, I haven't even told about what the vision is. We got there, and as soon as we were ready to enter the hospital, I saw two individuals who were in the vision, among individuals who were in the vision when I saw Tupac. Well, okay, the vision that I had to establish the warning in the first place was we were in this huge venue, and I saw a medium height brother, a tall, very tall, slim brother. In the middle of them was this huge, big, humongous, immense brother, younger brother, young son, fair complexion, and a young lady, light skin, short curly hair, and standing with another young man. And I'm walking towards the escalator, readying at the top of the down escalator, and Pac is rushing up, hat on white. And I told him, I said, we've got to go. You cannot stay here. It's important to leave now. He said, I have something to do. And he was moving quickly behind me to go over to where these individuals were standing. It looked like they were leaning against the wall, the ones that I just described, their images. And I said, come on, you can't stay here. We've got to go. We've got to go now. And he said, I've got to do this. And what he was going to do was inform those humans that were standing against the wall that he was leaving. He was not going to be with them. He was leaving whatever that company was, the organization, the group. He was leaving all of them because he had again, a greater work to do. But I was in that warning stage, trying to get him to come with me so we could go down and leave that venue. And he moved past me, going behind me, to go over to where these people were. And that was it. And it was like, you're going to have to warn him, June. You're going to have to get to him. You're going to have to tell him that they're going to try to kill him. So that's when I got Bob, and then moving now into being at the hospital. And Tracy took me to where Tupac's mother, his sister, and like 2 other women, another young woman, I don't know, it may have been 5 or 6 in there, and she introduced me and told the vision. They were very welcoming, interestingly. They didn't make me feel unwelcome, as sometimes can happen, like, who is this kook? Who is this person? Like, child, like, huh? They weren't like that. They were very open. It was very calm, very serene. And they were kind. And I was calm, but within I was distressed, because I wanted that young brother to live just like anybody else. Everybody else wanted him to live. Then Tracy took me out, and we went to another area not far off the hall, and she introduced me to the young woman. It's like, oh, that's the young woman who's in the vision, who was Quincy Jones' daughter, and whoever the young man that she was with. It was a very trying, intense time. So it's not like, oh, all tra-la, oh, hoo, hoo, hoo. It wasn't that. But her energy was, get this woman away from me. I can understand that. And then we went out, and there was this beautiful young brother, this young son that we passed coming in, and it was like, shh. I was like, wow, who was that? It was like I absorbed his soul. He had this calm, this peacefulness about him, but I felt his inner core was rumbling. And I looked at him, but I didn't approach him, because Holy Spirit didn't tell me to approach him. And I went to the phone, and I called New York Night Talk. I said, I'm in the hotel lobby, not hotel, I'm in the hospital lobby. Everything was really very quiet. And I talked to Bob and told him, we discussed this, what was happening. Tupac was on life support. His father was there, and I told him, I'm praying for him to live. And it was something like, we have 7 days or something like that. And I said, I'm praying that he lives. And so people were calling in and giving their thoughts and their feelings and their words. And then that was it. My main thing was that we had to all pray for Tupac to live. And Oh, the other thing that I said was understanding who those men were in the vision. And later, a few days later, after returning to Los Angeles, was MC Hammer, Snoop Dogg, humongous, huge, mountainous man, was what's that man's name? Suge Knight. The other young brother was Tupac's god brother, Gaddafi. They've been together since children, family. And he was the one with the reddish brown hair. So every day I'm feeling Tupac. I'm talking to him, praying to Most High for him to live. Yet there was one day when they showed he can't live like this. And it's like, well, he's got work to do. I want him to live. And of course, you know, that doesn't really, when it's written as it was when they showed it to me, Tupac is a genius, deep thinker, philosopher, and his work was to contribute to the rising of especially young people, young black people, first world ascendants, young sons, S-U-N-S, young daughters, sisters, brothers. He, as Honorable Michael Jackson, were individuals who could contribute to the change of the mental bodies, the rising of radiance, of sons, of brilliance, of daughters, shining souls, first world ascendants. Because I tell people, in 2021, coming from 1400, 1500s to now, the numbers are rising. They are not going down. You are not descendants. You are not descending. You are ascendants. Understand that, children. First world ascendants. First world, here I go, is the continent, the motherland from whence life rose. The first world, not third world. Wake up, Africa. Wake up. Awaken. Think up. So, he was one who was doing that, and actually when he was here, he was already doing it, but it was going to get bigger, because it was covering this planet. And as we say, this planet which spins within the universe without human compulsion or permission. Flesh form female, flesh form male, human individuals. And young son Tupac Amaru Shakur was one who had this, well, in a way, weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, burden upon him within his soul. And as a result of, you may say, greed, the drive for the money, which his music was definitely and definitively generating. Well, the assassination at that moment attempt, because he was still living within his flesh form as he be, male, man, human, on planet Earth. This planet which spins within universe without human compulsion or permission. He was there. Okay, so my prayers were going out, and I was not being given a confirmation. Yes, he will live. However, he was on that bed with life support. And one day, Most High directed, call Tupac's doctor and tell them what to do to help him be ready to depart flesh. I called, because when they direct me to do, I have to do, as we say, obedience pays, P-A-Y-S. I have to be obedient, no matter how uncomfortable or how much discomfort, how much I would want to resist. I cannot. So I called his doctor, who was not in, and I spoke to a nurse. And I told her who I am, and I said, this is what you have to do. She said, all right, I will. So I told her to stand at the foot of his bed, to walk around the left, to come back to the foot and walk up the right, and to tell him it's all right for him to leave. And I did that, and she said, I will. I thanked her. And then that was the 6th, no, that was the 12th of September. And the next day I said, I gotta get out. Spirit was on me really heavy, you know. I had to get out. I had to find some sense of distraction, something to take the energy off me. I had to get away. So I went to an area here called Century City. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to a movie. That always does it. But I could not stay in any theater. I was going from one theater to the other. You know, just going in and going out, and it's like it's not working. It's not working. So I went to the food court, and it was still not working. But I was like, okay, I need to do something. I have to get distracted. I have to get away. I have to get it off me. And so when I got the food, the tray, and I was walking towards the cash register, and I looked to my left, and I saw this woman coming through the big entrance, and tall woman, Caucasian woman, dark hair, dark coat, and was flowing, and I was like, I don't want her to come to me. She was walking, and it was like, and she was walking, and she was still looking, her gaze, and I'm looking, and she came up to me, and she said, Tupac just died. And I don't know what, I think I threw the tray up, and I don't know if I screamed. I don't know what happened, but it was like I had to get out of there. I don't know what happened to her, and I don't know how I got home. And that was 13th of September 1996. I do numbers. Tupac was born this date in 1977, the 16th of June 1977. I did the numbers. 6 and 6 is 12, and 7 was it 70, was it 77, 71? Yes, 1971. 6 and 6 is 12, 1 is 13, 1 is 2, and 7 is 9. So that adds to 1993. Tupac's destiny number is a 22. That in most terms, general terms, is the highest number in the universe, except if you just happen to, some auspicious or propitious way, get a 33. So he was a 22. That number, in general terms, is the number of ask and it shall be given, knock and the door will be open, seek and you will find. It's where all things work as Most High determines for each and every one's individual life. For those who believe in God and Most High, we refer to, and as some do acknowledge Allah, however individuals want to do that. And today is the first time I think, I don't know if I did his numbers before, but in 1993, that's what 6/16 1971 comes out to be, 1993, which is a 22, and it's like, God, no wonder that young brother was so called and pulled and driven and truly blessed with all the things, all the trials, all the tribulations, all the things that came upon him. He knew his destiny. He adhered to that which moved him from within his heart and soul. And the day he departed flesh, died to this world, left the flesh to live eternally, that day, 9/13/1996, added to 2018, which is 11. Hello. 11 is a master plan where all things work according to the will of Most High, no matter what we determine our plans to be. But the determined, undeterred will of Most High was manifesting the day Tupac departed. And 11 allows us the privilege of knowing it don't matter what you think your plans are, Miss Thing Honey, or you, my brother. This is God's plan. And within, individuals have that innate knowing, that divine spiritual sensing, the breath, that divine aliveness which lets us know that we are living beings within these flesh forms. As we be flesh form, female, woman, human, flesh form, male, man, human, that allows us to have our movements, our being. So that plan was, no matter how June prayed and everybody else was praying and hopeful and lighting candles and running to and fro and in circles and calling on the Orishas and the saints and the ancestors. Let Tupac live. Most High said Tupac is gone. He has departed flesh. Actually, Mother knows young son had departed flesh when I arrived in Las Vegas. Anyway, that was the 11, that departure date. And added to his destiny number, the 11 fulfilling the destiny, there's that 33. That young brother was a master. You know, for individuals who know about Masonic and spiritual organizations and their comprehension of what they believe and determine and discern the numbers to be, he had reached a 33. He couldn't stay here. He couldn't stay here. He couldn't live in this fitful place any longer. Most High called him out. He was lynched, murdered, had long been experiencing torture and pain, as did Yeshua, the African master that they deemed Jesus the Christ, because Christ wasn't his last name. I think I've told people that. I tell people that all the time. Christ was not that African master's last name. So, you know, they tortured him, had him stretched out on the cross. It's so interesting that these empowered and power-filled sons are put upon, held to degradation and denigrated and tortured and pummeled and stabbed and shot, lied on, as sure as we're born. Yeshua was assassinated. They do assassinate black men, black sons. He assassinated George Floyd. He assassinated him. And his death allowed humans to comprehend the meaningfulness of those who are chosen, who are called and chosen to be, quote, sacrificial, unquote. I'm not saying sacrificial lambs, because we got lambs today who are just trotting sheeple, you know, just going along with protocol, not utilizing brain, in fear. They're going along with the program. Tupac Shakur was anti the program, and his messages, which still resonate, were very powerful, empowering. The use of language I guess, which was no different than WAP. For some of the of y'all who know what that is, wet ass pussy. They utilize language to get to the individuals who would listen to whatever it is that they're saying. So as a young brother who understood understood the importance of words and languaging. He was waking folk up. Then he had to go. Jesus woke folk. They're waiting for him to return. He has returned so many times, and then individuals wouldn't even recognize the man, whoever they thought he was, because he definitely wasn't a European. He was not Caucasian, did not have blonde hair and blue eyes. If anything, he had kinky hair, and he was brown. That's where he lived, over there in the area where the brown people are, where the Africans are. Before it was all carved up, it was all the continent, the motherland. All that. As I say, people have to study and know geography and be willing to move past 1492 when that demon Christopher Colum came in, because he was lost and brought disease and pox and all sorts of filth and nasty stuff that killed the indigenous humans here, the indigenous nation. Tupac knew all that. This is his 50th year. However, he's living eternally, so he don't need any more years, but the earth years, he's 50. Which means he's 5. We never have to grow old. We don't have to crumble and look like prunes and raisins. Because as my grandmother taught, we have to think young. We have to always play. It's important to have good times and fun, because pain and grieving and joyless times are guaranteed. We will have sadness and sorrow. However, my grandmother, Big Ma, said, never grow old. Never grow old. So I like to play. I don't run anymore. I run in my brain, but can't get out here and run anymore. I really would love to. Anyway, what is today's date, numerical value? The date, for example, let me get that. The date of the attempted assassination, because it didn't become a fulfilled thing until Tupac gave up the ghost. But the date that he was shot, 9/7/1996, adds to 2012, and the complete numerical value of that is a 5. 5 is a number of freedom, no limitations, no bounds, no restrictions. It cannot even conceive in general terms of how to be locked up, chained, and bound. So for an example, individuals who are imprisoned or enslaved, yet had the ability to be mentally liberated, free. Because they were enslaved didn't mean that they were slaves. They were enslaved, chained, bound. Tupac was imprisoned, but the prison wasn't in him. As his dear friend and companion, Ms. Jada Pinkett Smith, spoke about the liberating literacy of young son when he was in prison, and the words that he wrote to her. They imprisoned him. They put him in jail. But the jail and the prison was not in him. He was still a creator. So, when those bullets hit him on the 7th of September 1996, young brother knew it's the last time. They will not inflict clubs, bullets, pummeling, kicking, stomping, none of that. It's all done. It's over. He's liberated. Eliminated from this earthly prison. So, just for the sake of the numbers revealing for each individual, everybody can be a Taurus, everybody can be a Pisces, they can be a Leo, they can be a Cancer, they can be a 1, 2, 3, they can be a 12, they can be a 15. Master numbers 11, 22s, 33s. You never reduce those numbers to their lowest denomination. So, Master Tupac Shakur was put upon by an attempted assassination which liberated his soul, and he lingered. He did not languish to fulfill his destiny, and ready to depart flesh to celebrate and be celebrated eternally, welcomed by his ancestors and his magnanimous creator. He lives, he lives, he lives. His Royal Highness HRH Tupac Shakur lives forever. And Most High has told me to tell you all can be HRH, his and her Royal Highnesses. Because once you begin to language yourselves upward and outward and extending, comprehending the limitlessness of all you, each and every one of you specifically in your own individuality, you are given the right to live and to contribute your best and no thing lesser to the betterment of yourself, whom you love first, know thyself, and then you can contribute unto others. HRHU, 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 HRH. Me? No more being counted as minorities, lesser than. None of you are lesser than any human on this planet. Tupac knew he was not lesser than anybody. Nor are any of you, nor are your children, nor are those whom you love. Tupac has contributed a magnanimous legacy for we who are his lineage. And so each and every one of you have a lineage, and you have to have contributions to the legacy so that they are mindful, they are remembering, they are recounting, they are honoring the resplendent self whom they be, whom you be. And this is a time of grace and magnificence, regardless of the hell those repugnant clan individuals are, quote, attempting and or trying, unquote, to continue enforcing. When you are paying attention to yourself and what you have to do, because you know who you are and you know whose you are, then they can do whatever it is that they do as they talk about democracy. Now, I know Pac would be saying similar in his poetically majestic manner. But Mother is saying this right now, telling you black people are the most forgiving and most humble folk on the planet. You don't have that right to be that. Humble means to be powerless, to cede, C-E-D-E, your power over to another and or others. You are not enslaved. The brain that you are given allows you the privilege to be tuned in and attuned within and externally, empowered. Honorable Harriet Tubman didn't give her power over to anybody. Honorable Sojourner Truth didn't give her power over to anybody. Honorable El Haj Malik El Shabazz didn't give his power over to anybody. And when Honorable Dr. Betty Shabazz told me, June, you got the spirit of Malcolm, I was like, oh my God. That was truly a compliment. And then, as Mother is inducted into the Dr. M.L. King International Board of Preachers at Morehouse, I was like, how am I going to correlate Malcolm and Martin? Because I know, I understand peacefulness. I love peacefulness. I have my own sense of peacefulness and serenity and all that. But if anybody would dare to hit me on this cheek and you think I'm going to turn the other cheek, I don't think so. You're going to get an opportunity to hit me on the other one. So that's how I know that, you know, I can be, as Dr. Betty said, the spirit of Malcolm. I thought that was a magnificent compliment. And then to know that I'm with my Morehouse sons. Thank you, Dr. Carter. I yet give thanks and praise that I live to complete the works that Most High created, ordained, and then brought June 4th to do. So I have been given, I guess you could say, the quote privilege, unquote, to communicate and commune with many humans across this planet, to have given the living word to renowned individuals, individuals such as, say for an example, young Senator and then President Barack Hussein Obama. And when I was invited to sing for the Honorable Muammar Gaddafi, I was disallowed to do that. But I'm going to keep on keeping on with all the strength that I have. But I wanted to celebrate this 50th time, this Earth birth date, honoring Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur. Shakur. We love you, young brother. Yes, we do. And I thank you for listening. And as so many people are, I don't have all these trillions and multi-million trillions of followers. Followers, oh my God. However, I'm asking you all to see my YouTube channel, subscribe, and give comments. And do give comments for this day. I thank you all, because I'm not here all the time. Oh my goodness. Sometimes it's like a job, isn't it? Like a chore. This day is Wednesday, 16th of June, the month named after me, in the year 2021. We are grateful and blessed to be breathing here. So, I extend wellness, peace, and prosperity to you. I extend blessings abundantly deserved to you who know you are blessed and deserving. I extend the best to you with grace and no thing lesser. So I just say, please, black folk, and any who will listen, stop being humble. Stop being minorities. Minority means lesser than, and none of you are birthed nor originated from the lesser than. You all are a majority of oneness within your individual flesh forms. As you be female, woman human, and male, man human. You're a majority of oneness. You royal highness is you. So I say that because those folk over there on that little bitty island deemed Britain, UK, seated on the throne, they're only over there because they stole everything from everybody. So, you know, they have the attitudes of being royal. Baby, it's time to develop your attitudes of royal highnesses. His and her and his royal highnesses. And just as an aside, young son, Prince Harry, and young mother, Duchess Meghan Markle, deemed from the Saxe-Coburg German lineage, and now Mountbatten, Windsor. Your babies are royal highnesses too. Just like any and all first world ascendants. So awaken, you African leaders, and stop letting Bill Gates and his demonic individuals coming over there and giving you that crap, shooting your babies full of whatever it is that he has been conjuring for over these 20 years or whatever, so that he could be a present day Nostradamus. It ain't gonna last, Mr. Demon. Okay, bye. Okay, how do I get